The biggest misunderstanding about survivors of narcissistic abuse is this: they aren't antisocial, cold, or uninterested in people. They've just learned, often the hard way, that not all connections bring comfort. For many survivors, social settings feel less like a celebration and more like a minefield. What's meant to be relaxing ends up triggering a swirl of anxiety, exhaustion, or emotional flashbacks. Today we'll explore 10 powerful reasons why survivors of narcissistic abuse tend to withdraw from social events. Each one unveils a deeper truth and maybe even parts of yourself you've been trying to understand. Let's start with reason 1. Rebuilding trust feels like climbing a mountain. Imagine trusting someone with your heart, your secrets, your entire self, only to be manipulated and discarded like you were disposable. That's what it's like to survive narcissistic abuse. Your brain, once wired for connection, starts preparing for betrayal. Every friendly smile is suspect. Every compliment feels like bait. You begin to question, what do they really want from me? This is a survival response, not a flaw. Psychologist Dr. Leslie Becker Phelps, in her book Insecure in Love, notes that past emotional trauma can cause people to expect betrayal even when there's no threat. It's not that survivors don't want to trust again. It's that trust has become synonymous with danger. But here's the catch. Avoiding people may feel safer, but it also deepens the isolation. The antidote isn't forcing connection. It's slowly learning through safe relationships that not everyone is out to harm you. If you're ready to stop getting stuck in the same hurtful relationship patterns and finally break the cycle of heartache, this book can show you how to get the love you deserve and keep it. Insecure in Love by Dr. Leslie Becker Phelps. Highly recommended by therapists. You can find the link below in the description. Reason 2. Fear of judgment runs deep. When you've been criticized relentlessly by someone who was supposed to love you, every interaction can feel like a test you're destined to fail. Narcissists don't just attack your choices, they attack your existence. Dr. Nina W. Brown, in Children of the Self-Absorbed, explains that this constant invalidation leaves deep scars. You walk into a room and suddenly your brain is replaying old messages. You're too much. You're not enough. Even when people are being nice, you can't help but feel you're being secretly judged. This social anxiety is rooted not in vanity, but in survival. It's the echo of years spent walking on eggshells. To heal, you have to challenge the inner critic that was planted by someone else. If you're ready to begin healing from the pain of growing up with a self-absorbed parent and establish the boundaries you need to thrive, this book will guide you one step at a time. You can find Dr. Nina W. Brown's book, Children of the Self-Absorbed, A Grown-Up's Guide to Getting Over Narcissistic Parents, through the link below in the description. Reason 3. The nervous system is stuck in survival mode. You don't just get over narcissistic abuse. Your nervous system remembers it. Crowded rooms, overlapping conversations, unexpected noises. What's normal for others feels overwhelming to you. This is called hypervigilance. Dr. Judith Herman, in her groundbreaking book, Trauma and Recovery, explains how trauma survivors often live in a constant state of alert. Your body is scanning for threats, even when you're safe. That birthday party, it might trigger the same physiological responses as an actual danger. You're not overreacting. Your body is doing what it was trained to do: survive. Recognizing this is the first step to releasing it. Dr. Judith Herman's book, Trauma and Recovery, is hailed by the New York Times as one of the most important psychiatry works to be published since Freud. Trauma and Recovery is essential reading for anyone seeking to understand how we heal. This book is also recommended by therapists. You can get a copy through the link below. Reason 4. Small talk feels fake and frustrating. After surviving something as mentally and emotionally intense as narcissistic abuse, surface-level conversations feel like noise. You've spent years decoding lies, reading between the lines, and trying to survive manipulation. So when someone says, "How was your weekend?" it feels disorienting. Dr. Lindsay Gibson, author of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, explains that trauma survivors often crave depth. You've lived in emotional chaos. You've asked yourself the deepest questions about who you are and what you deserve. And now talking about weather or sports just doesn't cut it. It's not about being snobbish. It's about being starved for realness. The kind of connection where people talk about truth, healing, and growth. That's where you feel alive. You can find Dr. Lindsay Gibson's book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, through the link below in the description. This book is #1 top rated in Amazon and has sold over 1 million copies. Reason 5. You feel like you don't belong. Even in a room full of kind people, narcissistic abuse survivors often feel like outsiders. Everyone's laughing, chatting, moving on with ease. And you're silently wondering, do I even belong here? Why? Because your inner world has been so radically changed by pain that normal conversations feel alien. You've seen behind the curtain. You've lived through gaslighting, devaluation, and emotional neglect. You're not antisocial. You're just carrying a depth that few understand. And until someone meets you in that place, you may continue to feel like a stranger in your own life. Reason 6. You're still untangling your identity. Narcissistic abuse strips away your sense of self. You were taught to doubt your voice, minimize your needs, and mold yourself into whatever the narcissist needed. So now, in social settings, it can feel impossible to know who you're supposed to be. Should you be outgoing, reserved, funny, serious? The masks you wore to survive still cling to you even when the threat is gone. Therapist Shannon Thomas, author of Healing from Hidden Abuse, writes that recovery is about reclaiming your identity piece by piece. And until you find solid ground within yourself, being around others may trigger deep confusion or insecurity. Like I recommended in other videos, Shannon Thomas's book, Healing from Hidden Abuse, will guide you through your healing journey. There's even a guided personal reflections journal included in the book to help you go deeper in your 6 stages of recovery. You can find a copy from the link below in the description. Reason 7. Boundaries are still a work in progress. Boundaries are essential, but after abuse, they're often non-existent or too rigid. In social settings, this shows up as oversharing or shutting down completely. You're either too open because you fear being rejected, or too closed because you fear being used. Healthy connection requires balanced boundaries, but when your past taught you that people take advantage the moment you let your guard down, learning where to draw the line becomes a daily challenge. That's okay. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Every time you say no or I need space, you are reprogramming the belief that your needs don't matter. Reason 8. You overanalyze everything. Survivors of narcissistic abuse become hyperanalytical. You learn to dissect every word, every glance, every silence because your safety depended on it. So when someone says you look tired, you don't just hear concern. You hear possible judgment, disapproval, or hidden insult. This kind of mental exhaustion makes socializing feel like emotional calculus. What should be simple becomes a puzzle you feel obligated to solve. You're not paranoid, you were conditioned to survive, but healing means giving yourself permission to let go of the constant decoding. Not everything needs to be figured out. Reason 9. Emotional flashbacks hijack the present. Sometimes you're at a dinner party and suddenly, without warning, you're transported back to a moment of trauma. A tone of voice, a look, or even a scent triggers a rush of fear or shame. These are emotional flashbacks. Pete Walker, in his book Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving, explains how these flashbacks don't always come with visual memories. They're emotional storms that feel just as real as the original trauma. In these moments, being around others feels impossible. Your heart races, your hands tremble, you want to run, but you don't even know why. Learning to recognize and soothe these flashbacks is key to reclaiming your sense of safety. Pete Walker's book, Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, is ranked #2 most gifted book. Feel free to grab a copy for yourself or your loved ones who you know they need to recover from the lingering effects of childhood trauma. This book is also for those who do not have complex PTSD but want to understand and help a loved one who does. What's reason 10? You're learning to choose yourself first. Perhaps the most empowering reason survivors avoid social settings is this: they're finally learning to put themselves first. After years of self-abandonment to keep others happy, you're discovering what you need. Sometimes that means declining invitations. Sometimes it means spending the evening journaling or taking a walk instead of attending a crowded event. You're not avoiding life, you're curating it. And that's powerful. You're rebuilding a life on your own terms. One step, one boundary, one moment of peace at a time. So if you're someone who's withdrawn from social life after surviving narcissistic abuse, know this: you're not broken, you're healing. Each reason we discuss today is a reflection of your strength, not your weakness. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to heal at your own pace. If this video resonated with you, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And don't forget to check the description for our recommended healing books and tools that have helped thousands on their recovery journey. And they offer powerful insights that might just shift your perspective in ways you never expected. You're not alone. You're just becoming whole. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video from Heart to Success.